How we doing?
Good, good. Let me know when you're ready. Rajay, you good? Kevin, you good? Awesome. Coach, I'm saying that we're good.
We ready to get back at it. Coming off a good bye week this past week. We got a lot done as a football team and coming off that big win in homecoming. So we locked in, ready to go. Should be recouping some guys that didn't play in that game. So anytime you have a bye week, that's the key for us to get some guys back healthy. We did a good job as a staff getting jump started on Grambling. So we're looking forward to getting to Vegas.
Coach, what do you think is the biggest challenge just going up against Grambling? I know you guys played last year, but it wasn't technically like a SWAC game.
Yeah, this one counts. This one counts, and then it's another road game for us. You got to get on the plane. We'll travel over to Vegas. They coming off a big win. The big win against Pine Bluff. They found a way to win. I think it's their first conference win. We just got to go over there and play our brand of ball, though. We got to go over there and avoid the letdown and just play our level of football. If we do that, I think we'll be fine. I know we'll be fine.
Coach, what was your biggest message to the team in the off week? And especially now that you guys are back, and you want to make sure you kind of keep that sense of urgency on them. What was your message to them?
We're almost there. You get into the third and fourth quarter of the season right now, so we're almost there. And we're still in control of our own destiny. That was a big goal for us going into this season and getting to this point. And everything that we want is still out in front of us. We're not waiting on anybody to lose or beat somebody. And we want to keep it that way, these next 4 or 5 weeks before the SWAC championship game.
Has there been any message throughout the last week of kind of really wanting to get this win over Grambling, making up for what happened last year?
Oh, definitely. That left a bad taste in our mouth. We had to, sit on that one for an entire year. Coach Joseph's going to have those guys fired up, so it's going to be, what I'm hearing, a nice crowd over there. I think they've sold over 20,000 tickets so far in that game. But, like I said, they're riding high. A big win for them last week. And they felt like, off last year's the way that game went, they got a chance this year. It's just about me getting my guys grounded. Anytime you coming off a huge win like we had a couple weeks ago, I got to get these dudes locked back in, coaches locked back in, and let them know we still got a long ways to go. And I got to continue to try to finish this season out strong.
Turnovers were a big thing in that game, and they seem to be doing pretty good in turnovers this year again, too. What's kind of the message in terms of keeping your team in check with that and letting them know you got to take care of the ball?
Yeah, that's a goal for one of our goals for each and every week. We practice ball security. Our defense practice taking away the football. We got a couple of big turnovers in this past game that almost hurt us. So we just got to continue to practice it, emphasize it to the guys and let them know, every team can't overcome turnovers and penalties, things like that. So you just, put it up here in the PowerPoints and meetings, and then you go out there and practice those situations and try to, continue to emphasize and tell your team they got to get better at it.
Coach, is there any specific matchups that Grambling may potentially pose a challenge to you guys coming into this game?
They had the quarterback from Southern, T-Set. They're a guy that can run around and throw it a little bit. So that's the one thing that we want to try to do a good job of keeping him bottled up in the pocket, make him win from the pocket. Other than that, I look forward to anytime. I always talk about the trench game. Our offensive line, their D-line, and our D-line and their offensive line. So we got to come out and try to establish the run, and we got to get some pressure on their quarterback over there because I think, offensively with the run game, they want to run the football, but we wanted to put it in T-Set's hands.
What's kind of the magnitude of this game, just bringing HBCU football to the West Coast to fans that don't get to see it a whole lot?
You talk about tradition. You talking about JSU, a heavy tradition-based program, and also Grambling, one of the probably the greatest ever HBCU coach, Eddie Robinson, down there to coach that and to take that out on the West Coast. A lot of people out that way don't get to see a brand of HBCU football live. That's why we're going to go out there and put our best foot forward in a situation like that. And also, too, JSU has a huge alumni base out there on the West Coast, So anytime you can get those two programs like a Grambling and a Jackson State over there on the West Coast, not only on the West Coast, you're in Vegas. You on the Strip, in an NFL stadium. It's something that I know both programs are looking forward to.
And I know, Coach, the HBCU Legacy Bowl is way later on, but you had 2 players already added to the roster. I just wanted you to touch on, the legacy that Jackson State continues to have and that you helped build.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm so excited for Quincy. We got is it Jacobian? I think he's up, and then it's gonna be a couple more names, you know, that's gonna be called. But Shaq Harris and Doug Williams do a great job with that whole deal. You know, give those guys the opportunity to get in front of NFL scouts. It's good for our program when you can have guys' name announced into it. You think about last year, you know, some of our coaching staff, including myself, went down there and coached that game along with Irv Mulligan, names like that played in it last year. So it's a great game down in New Orleans. You have a good time down there, but it's all about those guys getting to display and showcase their talents in front of those NFL scouts.
We're good. All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody.